Okay, we're probably going to talk about a lot of things that aren't the Epstein files today, but do not forget don't fall for the distractions generally. Release the rest of the Epstein files. The Epstein files, important, but here's the other stuff.
This episode is brought to you by our patron supporters. Today's patron of the day is Elizabeth Chris. Patrons get the show always ad-free and access to the extended episode with bonus content. If you don't want to miss all of that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline.
Liz Chris got the patron of the day by being the most upvoted comment on Patreon, patreon.com/calltheline, where you get the full thing and not the ads, unless you consider this intro thing an ad. And I understand if you do, but yeah, this part we leave on because we have to announce the patron of the day. So we make it very Patreon heavy, but the other ads you don't get. And as time goes on, guys, unfortunately, those ad reads, they're probably going to get longer, especially as we approach episode 100 and maybe start actually marketing this damn thing. All right, well, we have a show to do. Hi, welcome everybody. It's February 20th, 2026. Ugh. Blaze it.
Ugh.
Blaze it. That's not a thing. February 20th, 2026. I swear there's something I'm supposed to remember that happens on February 20th that I got nothing. I got nothing. It's probably like an ex's birthday. This is the problem with it being such a massive slut as I've been. I have a lot of ex's birthdays that are stuck in the head. It's like, ugh. And you just feel like, what was I supposed to do today? But I can't think of which one, if there was. Oh my God, it's my girlfriend's birthday. No, just kidding. Wouldn't that have been?
Oh my God. I was going to be like, yeah, sure. No, but you would never forget that.
No, of course not. All right. So it's almost a good thing we're same daying this one. We're not recording a day in advance because I feel like the news today was kind of big and then it's kind of be getting lessened, but kind of big. We could start on the big news of the day. The Supreme Court shut down Donald Trump's ability to tariff using the Emergency Powers Act. What is it? The IEEP LMNO. Ooh, yeah. It's on them. If you don't want to put in the effort to having a memorable name for your bill, then this is your fault. This is your problem. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, that's good. Maybe things are going to be good. But it's also kind of like he's already basically said, I don't intend to abide by the Supreme Court. Right. So he's going back to other frameworks of other laws. There's still complications here. It's so funny. Like if I was Donald Trump, I would have been like, I'm going to act really mad, but I'm going to accept it because we are seeing that people are running out of their pre-tariff inventory and we are heading toward a terrible, terrible crisis coming. It's coming and it's my fault. Like, Donnie, you just got saved and you're like, I'm not going to let him save me. I'm fucking crashing this thing into the wall. I don't want it. I want everyone to suffer. I'm still mad. This after, I mean, there's other shit this idiot has done, but the Supreme Court basically said, no, you cannot use the IEEPA is the name of the law.
What an act. They should.
The International Emergency Economic Powers Act basically is what he's been using to say, it gives me total and absolute power to put what I see fit for these trade deficits, because trade deficits somehow he still hasn't learned aren't bad. It's okay to have trade deficits. I have one with my grocery store. Do you know how little my grocery store buys from me?
I know. It's appalling. And honestly, you should be more upset about it.
I can't remember the last time they bought something from me. And yet I go there sometimes twice a day. Sometimes it's happened recently. I had, we forgot something, better pop back over, even though we have that trade deficit. Trade deficits aren't inherently bad. Universal tariffs are inherently bad. Anyway, basically now he's going to use other tariff statutes from other trade acts to try and do a 10% worldwide. He wants to reimpose that in response, almost like as revenge for limits being put on him. But he's also now, after negotiations with countries where he was like taking tariffs off, going to put them back on as a fuck you to the Supreme Court, but also like mostly just a fuck you to Americans. They're also now faced with that $275 billion that they used under the other framework that they did tax. It's found unconstitutional. So basically it's saying that money you collected, you weren't allowed to.
Right.
And so now there has to be some type, and apparently the Supreme Court ruling did not give guidance on how, which is unfortunate, or like a timeline or whatever. In theory, that $275 billion in tariffs that he keeps acting like he's been able to do trillions of dollars of stuff with. He hasn't. He's just been taking it out of your taxes, people. He's acting like, no, not that he's acting like. The $275 billion in theory has to be refunded to the people who paid those tariffs.
Right.
But they didn't give him a date. They didn't give him, there's no, like, they're not going to.
Right.
The man's going to figure out how he's like, well, we're going to refund it, but instead of giving it as a refund to the people, we're going to give it to the fund to upgrade that jet that Qatar was so nice to give me. It wasn't Qatar. It was, who was it?
No, it was.
It was?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was like Saudi Arabia or UAE or something.
I thought it was Qatar. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I could have sworn that's what it was. But I don't know.
It's just all, he had a chance to get bailed out and he's like, don't you worry, I will not let people save me or you from me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the dumbest fucking person alive. I don't know.
It's just so dumb.
I need to warn you today. I already am like angry. Like I have like no real patience today for all of the fuck shit. Yeah, like I really like, you know, it's like what are we even talking about? He's literally an idiot and no one wants to stand up to him. We literally have a giant toddler in charge and no one wants to be like, hey, maybe we should let the giant big baby make decisions.
Quite the opposite. I was watching part of his Georgia event this week. Mm-hmm. He went down to Georgia, as the devil famously does. Yeah. He went down to Georgia and he was just getting glazed. He just had a series of people like, so and so. He had Herschel Walker come back up. I was like, you guys don't consider what happened with Herschel Walker an embarrassment and a disaster that you want to hide from? When, like, I don't know if you remember the Herschel Walker saga, but he was running against Ossoff or Warnock? I want to say, I feel like I remember watching the debates, which means I probably would have only watched it if it was Warnock. I think he was up against Warnock. And I mean, he kept doing like crazy shit, like being like, it was called out how he basically was lying about being a member of law enforcement. And he was like, so is this a lie? And he shows a fake badge.
Oh my God.
He got like an honorary FBI badge or something. Like a,
God.
And even the people had to be like, you agreed to the terms that you would not use props at this debate. There was even that. It was against the prop fucking rule.
That's crazy.
And then like famously he's all like, Republican way. I'm running as a Republican and I'm going to deny everybody abortions. That was the guy who it turned out had paid for several women's abortions whom he had gotten pregnant. And so he loses because he's also just a very, very, very stupid man. It's like, it's funny because there's these groups of people who it's like they just show off how dumb they are. Like Nick Shirley level dumb.
Who's Nick Shirley?
You haven't seen Nick Shirley? This documentary, he's a YouTuber pretending to be a journalist. He's the guy who made the documentary that caused all of ICE to come to Minnesota because he went to a learning center outside of the times it was open and was like, why aren't they here? Why aren't they here? This must be some more of that fraud that's happening. And it wasn't. He's just he's just the worst. We're being ruled by dumb people. At this point, I want the relief of the Idiocracy movie. I want it to only be as stupid as Idiocracy.
You know, it's
at least we'd all have Gatorade, Bronto.
It just is increasingly discouraging that the evil villains that we deal with are both nerds. No, I can't say nerds because people got
Nerds
upset when
is
I said
good,
nerds.
but nerds
They
what
were
it
in the
makes.
comments like, "What's wrong with nerds?" And I was like, I know.
You can't
You
say
guys are
dumb
not
people
what
are
I'm
nerds
talking
though.
about.
That's more of just contradictory. Who are you calling nerds?
The evil villains.
Yeah, no.
I'm just thinking
They
about
have to at least be
Elon's
smart. Even if
emails.
you want to use nerd, like Elon's like a shitbag nerd. If you want to
Yeah,
use
he's
it
a shitbag
derogatory, at
nerd.
least we can agree he has some baseline level of intelligence that's above average, and he's using it for
Yeah.
evil, like a Bond villain.
Yes. Yeah.
Granted,
So
how intelligent he says he is, I'm not conceding to.
and I think that's fair. Very
Yeah.
smart and fair. So we have either that or we have actually the dumbest fucks I've ever seen. And it's also, these people who are dumb, who are then treating their base like they're dumb. And, here we are, idiot sandwich.
I don't know if anyone already made this point when it happened months ago, but I want to drag up an Elon thing from months ago. Do you remember when gamers were exposing that he clearly does not, he basically was claiming to be one of the best in the world at playing some game. It used to be Diablo. Now it was something else. That's kind of like Diablo. Anyway, he used to claim he was like the best in the world and that right now he's like in the top 10. And a lot of people were questioning that because it's like, wait, but the people who are currently in the top 10 do nothing else but this game. Like they're sleeping 6 hours a night at most, and the other 18 hours a day, sometimes 20 hours a day, they are in some way playing this game. That's who's at the top of the boards. And you're up in the boards with them. And then people started like noticing that his IP address was from China when he'd be in America. And so he was basically paying people in China to always be working on leveling his guy up and like getting him ranked up. Yeah. And then he tried to do a live stream to prove, no, actually, I'm not that. And then people were pointing out very clearly his character is set up like not in a way anyone who actually plays the game would do. One of the ones they would point out is when you get to that level, you start like the lowest end loot that drops, you set filters so it just doesn't even show up anymore because it actually just ends up littering everywhere and you're not able to see the good stuff and it ends up being in your way. You don't game much, so I don't know this, but
I don't.
It means any much to you. But like imagine you were playing Farmville back in the day.
Sure.
And if you hit a corn plant and you took down the corn plant, imagine if it like you really only wanted the one main corn crop out of it, but it also would drop like 100 corn seeds, but you have all the corn seeds you need. You could filter to turn off all the corn seeds so you just get the corn that you wanted out of it. Okay, so that's basically, and he hadn't done that. And at that event's level, so he's like anyway, this is how they knew that he was like full of shit. And yet he was still claiming like, yeah, I am one of the best players. This is so a metaphor for his whole career. I reinvented electric vehicles. You haven't fucking done shit, my dude. You've put in a feature request at best, and other people did it. I reinvented rockets. I designed a rocket that can be landed. Like all of these things. There's even this like famous moment where he's explaining to a reporter the way, or it might have been an influencer, but the way this fuel system works and how it's like so much more efficient because it like doubles something back, blah, 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 blah. And the guy, the YouTuber clearly understood it better than him and went, well, if you're putting that in your booster, why aren't you putting it in your main rockets or some question like that? And he's like, that's actually, okay, well, I'm going to get back to you on it. And
shut up.
Next time the guy comes back, he's like, yeah, because I realized what a great idea that is. And we actually, that is how we're doing it now, which means basically, if anything, he is there is no way the actual engineers designing that shit that nobody there had thought of that. But they probably suggested it to him in a language higher than he could understand. So it took an influencer who knows how to talk to people like they're little bitty babies, like our audience. No, I'm teasing. You guys are great.
Terrible.
But learn how to like package it for basically an obvious feature was obvious to this YouTuber and the engineers, and then he pretended, oh, I should have seen it. It was so obvious. Afterwards, I don't know how to think of that. Come to think of that. He's, if anything, limiting, because there's probably a lot of people who have great ideas and they're like, yeah, so we give him a menu of ideas essentially, and the ones he understands, he picks and takes them as his own. Like, even the Teslas, there was a feature called like Joe mode, and it was because it was basically like, hey, there was a guy on Twitter who was like, hey, your car makes so many sounds, it has so many like beeping reminders and stuff, but it wakes up my babies when I'm trying to drive around. Is there a way to like turn them down and to just the essential sounds? And so they added something called Joe mode to the thing. And so it's literally like, you don't get it, man. Like, you aren't you pay for it.
Yeah.
Like you did with the video games. You pay for other people's excellence and then take credit for it as your own. And this is what, I mean, I'm not trying to just be like, anti-capitalism all the time, but also I kind of am. And it's just so very, very obvious that he's a fraud. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that as we go to a quick ad break? I need to do a quick ad break here. Real quick.
I mean, it's interesting because then I think about how does a person who's a fraud build an entire persona where he has like an army of like fuck ass Twitter tech bros, who will defend him till the death, saying that he's the smartest man alive.
Maybe that's why he's voting the robots. He's
that?
running out of people willing to do that, and now the robots are going to come and be like, actually, his wiener has so much girth and length, the perfect amount.
My favorite is the guys who like have no concept of technology at all, and they're like, well, it's pretty obvious that he's one of the most intelligent people. You have no idea. You have no idea what you're talking about.
The famous line is, he is a stupid person's idea of what a genius is.
Oh my, yes.
And we'll be right back.
And we'll be right back.
Hey, you know what we'd really appreciate is if you'd hit subscribe. You know, this is a weird ad to do, but like wherever you are, if you'd hit subscribe, you'd leave a comment, leave a 5-star review. If you leave anything else, I'll find you. No, I won't find you, because then now you might not leave a 5-star review because you want me to find you. But it'd be really great if you would help us share out this podcast, share clips. And if you follow us on YouTube, we have been sharing shorts from the podcast, some highlight moments that you might enjoy. So if you want to help this podcast, because if by episode 200 it still looks like an unmarketed podcast, well, there probably won't be an episode 300. You know what I'm saying? We do gotta actually like, we gotta make this thing work. So if you want to help us make this thing work, share it around, tell people, and just start talking about it like it's a thing. Hey, did you hear this week's episode of The Line is a Podcast? Just skip the acknowledgement that that's not a thing. They might go back and listen to the archive and go, oh, I was tricked. But listen,
you know what? My thing is not a thing for who. Like, it's a thing for us.
Right. And it should be a thing for them.
And it should be a thing for you too.
The Line is a Podcast is found in all kinds of crazy ass places. And you can also get merch at linemerch.com. I guess that was the ad too. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to the show. Welcome back, everybody. I do like, we're probably pretty much ready to move on from the tariff thing. Donald Trump just being like, I do what I want. Fuck you. Fuck America. Fuck the Constitution. I already said it's fine to suspend that when I want to. It's just an obvious authoritarian, and I just am waiting to be saved by cholesterol. But I do like the most top voted comment under one of the tariff things. Why do I follow any laws if he doesn't have to? Why do any of us? Serious question. And that is a good question. Like, why do I pay taxes when they don't pay taxes? Why do I follow laws? Why do I like any of that shit? It's literally like this guy, any other president would be out and probably in prison by now. And this guy, we're like, hey guys, let's let the man set economic policy that we're not positive didn't fuck kids.
I'm looking forward to the next time they get him like on the private jet. And you know, when he has those, that's when he really has the moments where he says the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I saw someone in a comment when someone asked him again about like did they ask him about, maybe they asked him about Prince Andrew. And they were like, yeah, like, how do you feel about that? And he's like, I just think it's a shame. I just think it's, you know, just a very sad, sad day. But, you know, I've been exonerated. And the good
Right.
news is
It's
I
always
have
bring
been
it back to
shown to
me.
be completely exonerated
That's
and
not what
just
happened.
absolutely no
Has
involvement
anyone ever seemed
whatsoever.
more innocent than me? As though like if he was a robber, they're like, sure, there's videos of me in the car, but frankly, you know, I'm innocent. It proves that. Look at my face when I'm in that car. Does that look like the face of a man who's
Oh my
stealing or a man
God.
who's having a good time?
It's
Totally,
just,
totally
it's,
exonerated.
I would like to know for the people who support him how they hear that and they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of the dumb
Exactly.
things he says, though, this is actually
Mhm.
like the perfect segue when he's up in the and they ask him questions and you can see like Levitt's behind him and some other guys behind him, almost there to be like, just in case we need
Mhm.
me to come in and do some filleting of whatever bullshit he says. Always with that phony ass smile back there, just like we are so behind this. Then again, Caroline Levitt has an Ava Braun-esque quality to her. Maybe she is super into it. Uh, Speaking of dumbass things, somebody asked him about the aliens. Did you see
Yeah,
this?
what no, I
So
didn't.
Obama had gone on a podcast. I've already forgotten who the host was because it
Oh,
was of ill import
yeah,
to me.
I
Uh,
saw that.
Obama goes on a podcast and they ask him about the aliens. If aliens exist, he goes,
Mhm.
aliens exist, but they're not in Area 51. I'm not going to try and do it, Obama. I was like half assing it. They're not in Area 51. We're not like, we weren't like holding them, but he did say aliens exist, but we don't have aliens or something. And a lot of people took that as like he's saying we interacted with aliens, which he went on to specify on social media like, no. To be clear, scientifically, it's very likely aliens
Right.
exist elsewhere. The universe is huge. It's unlikely we're alone in it, but it's so big that we're also unlikely to have ever been visited or to ever visit aliens. Like that's how
Mhm.
big the universe is. I have no knowledge of aliens ever visiting Earth. And so somebody asked Trump about it. Like, did you see what Obama said? And Obama and Trump goes, yeah, he released classified information. That's classified information. He wasn't
Oh
supposed to
my
be doing that.
god.
I don't know if they're real, but they're, and somebody said like, wait, so they are real? He like released classified. He's like, well, I don't know if they're real. Like, I don't know or not. Realizing like maybe I just did it. Maybe I just released the classified info. Um, and then a whole thing about, maybe I'll have to declassify stuff. Maybe I'll get him out of trouble by declassify. We'll see. Anyway, so Obama didn't release any classified information. He answered the question like the exact way any random ass person could answer it. I guess like he said what isn't in Area 51,
Mhm.
which isn't, I don't think classified files are a lot of like, hey, and then that whole library of folders are just words of things we aren't keeping in Area 51 and it's classified. So
Right.
don't tell anyone we're not keeping aliens, aardvarks, apple pies. If you say any of those, we're just going with the A's at first. If you say any of those, just so you know, you're gonna be, and somebody in the comments is gonna be like, aardvarks would become before aliens, and apple pies is fine being at the end. Somebody's gonna be like, if they did it, I obviously you meant alphabetically. Shut up. Anyway, I'm a little low energy today. Is this coming off as
Me
obvious?
too.
I'm like
Me too.
exhausted.
I feel like I don't know.
I think Trump might
The
have let out that we've had aliens.
Trump,
He said
that would imply some level of consciousness that like he is even like here physically, mentally, cognitively. The man doesn't know where the fuck he is. He has the cognitive ability of my 14-year-old chihuahua. Like they vibe
he's dumb.
similarly.
Yeah.
Like it's just he's just bopping around saying whatever shit brain thing is turning around in his head. And then all of these like random people with an IQ of 4 are like, he's the most brilliant man that's ever lived. What the fuck are you talking about?
And he keeps doing things that should be obviously dumb to the other people too, because like he's now saying he's going to declassify. He said like, yeah, let the American people see. They really want to know. So let the American people see. We're going to declassify the UFO and alien files and you'll be able to see. And obviously he does. If there was something, when there's nothing in those files definitive, that's not going to shut anybody up, because obviously if there was aliens, I don't think there was, but if there was, he wouldn't actually release those. He'd only declassify the ones that throw everybody off. So if you believe there are aliens, if anything, you'll use this as proof there are aliens that they're still hiding, right? Like that's, and you'll also take any UFO. There's undoubtedly UFOs, right? But UFOs doesn't mean aliens. It literally means unidentified flying object. That's what UFO stands for. It doesn't mean it's extraterrestrial. It means we don't know what that fucking thing was. So it could be a prank, could be from another government, whatever. Especially nowadays where you can make a drone look like fucking anything. I don't know if you've seen the drone light shows too. Drone light shows are awesome.
Yeah, they are very cool.
I was watching one on TV that was like the K-pop Demon Hunters light show made out of drones. It was so cool. So good.
That is very cool.
Finally saw that movie a few weeks ago. It was awesome.
You liked it?
Oh,
I haven't seen it yet. I don't like love kids movies.
It's not just a kids movie.
Yeah, that's but I know that people like adults really, really love it.
Right,
so
with
I need
ADHD
to, like,
especially.
Really?
Yeah, it's made for you.
Oh my God. Okay, great.
You're gonna love it. Do you like K-pop? I love K-pop.
Not like in an in-depth way, but like I do when I hear K-pop songs, I do like them.
Have you ever watched like K-pop music videos though?
There was one in particular.
Yeah.
God, what the fuck was the name? And like it was so good. I know that K-pop artists are like fucking incredible.
The music sort of videos like, go so hard.
It sort of makes like American artists look so shameful because the effort is just not there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes yes, sometimes no. If we're going to talk about shameful, the men of South Korea do not treat K-pop artists very good. And it's probably true for more than just the men. But I just remember
weren't they like
not too
collapsing
long
on
ago,
stages and stuff?
there was like a huge K-pop artist who had to apologize, like issue an apology because people found out she secretly had a boyfriend.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like had to just prostrate herself and lost all kinds of deals and all kinds of stuff because she is supposed to present for men the idea that
am I frozen?
She is like, yeah, you're frozen. She is their girlfriend or could be. You look like also that cup brand paid you. Because it's just you holding it still with the logo facing out. And
I'm turning my camera on and off to see
we didn't get paid shit. I guess maybe refresh. I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
What's going on here.
Hold on.
Anyway, K-pop is the shit. So supposedly we're going to find out the truth. Finally, the truth about whether or not, I say finally, this has not been something I've worried much about. I honestly think like if aliens were here, what would they be hiding all for and shit? Like we just, the narrative doesn't make sense that there would be aliens just staying out of sight from us. And if they were going to stay out of sight from us, that we would ever detect them. It would either be they wanted to be hidden and their technology would be such that we never have a chance at finding them, even like really by accident. When you think about safety features, just like I have a drone that now is like pretty hard to crash because of the automatic backup safety systems. Theirs would be very many times much more advanced than that. What is going on? Yeah, I think you need to unplug and replug in your camera, maybe. The Line is a podcast where we leave the tech checking and the technical support in the podcast. That's what we do. Let's try a plug-unplug situation. AO. I don't know, guys. I think Donald Trump might not be a very good president. I think he might. I don't want to be radical, but I think he might even be a bad president. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Sound off in the comments if you disagree, or if you agree, let us know. And don't forget that if you put your comment under the patron episode, you can become patron of the day over at patreon.com/calltheline. And right now we're pretty much going with the most, we did it last week, so we'll do it this week. The most upvoted comment. But Liz Chris, you can't win twice in a row, I'm afraid. It will have to be somebody else. There was a person who almost got it, almost missed it by one. Maybe we'll talk about some of them comments in the bonus show as well. That would be a fun thing for everybody. I don't know. I feel like I'm sitting around waiting to see if she's able to reconnect and a little lost on what to do from here. And we honestly blew through the stories that I thought would take more time. I guess it's just, guys, I'm just tired. And it's a little bit because the world is terrible. And then it's just a little bit because I'm an old man. I'm old. I feel that more all the time. And I'm about to turn 36 in 2 weeks. Actually, how soon is that? The 20th, there's 8 days left, and then 13 days. Yeah. The 5th of March. I'm turning 36. And I feel like I remember people talking about how old they felt in their late 40s. Boy, it just starting at 30. Then again, I've got some chronic health stuff that was different, but man, how old were you all when you started to feel old? If you have started to feel old yet, you're just like, oh, my knees don't always behave. That's cool. That might be more related to the fact that it's always the knee. Well, not always, but the knee that bugs me is the same one that has a rod in my leg. So I'm talking about getting old and the feelings of getting old.
Okay.
How I'm weird. I'm tired all the time. And now I've got my right knee keeps just not. It was so funny. I'd never had a knee issue in my life. And then suddenly my knee started hurting. And I was like, I didn't even know it could hurt physically where. When people say their knees are tired, I always thought it was the joint around the knee. But it's just under the kneecap, I think, is where it shows up. I don't know. It's not where I expected the pain to be, is what I'm saying.
My mom had torn meniscuses on both knees, and I don't know if it's genetic, but I fear it is because I have very weak knees. And she had to go PT to build the muscle around her knee. Yeah. And sometimes I'm I think I should look up knee exercises to try and, because she's not that active of a person. So I don't know how that happened.
I don't know if I'd call it weak knees. But my right knee, because I had a rod put in that leg after I broke it, has nerve damage in it. And so it wasn't ever really pain, but I couldn't ever really kneel on it. It would make my leg shake if I tried to put weight while kneeling on it. And it would feel very weird because there's places within that area that I feel nothing. And then it's weird. I can take something hot and run it across, and I'll have zones where I don't feel the heat and zones where I do. It just feels odd.
Yeah, that's spooky.
It's strange. It's
very
strange.
Weird.
Anyway, what else? What else are we meant to talk about? I kind of thought we would have taken way more time on most of this stuff, but I feel like
it's sort of what is there to say? Yeah, and what is there to really say? The other
they'll
thing,
find a way to do the tariffs anyway, and aliens. You won't be able to trust what they do release. If we can't trust them to expose pedophiles, how can we trust them to expose aliens? What if the aliens are pedophiles? Then Donald Trump would definitely protect them.
That's true.
Y'all think about that? Donald Trump announces, I'm going to release the files of the UFOs and the aliens, unless they're pedophiles, in which case my pattern is I protect them. I will not be, because some of these aliens are great people. Peter Thiel. That dude would be looking like
Peter
an alien.
Thiel.
Peter Thiel and Mark Zuckerberg are probably both aliens.
100%. Mark Zuckerberg is an alien. Like
Yeah.
he is. The only time I've ever considered the like giant lizards in human skin thing is with Mark Zuckerberg.
You ever see the clip of him telling Theo Von he drinks coffee recreationally?
What the fuck does that even mean?
He was like, so you like coffee? He's like, no. That's the way he said it too. No. So you just don't drink it at all? No. Well, sometimes, and then he goes, sometimes when I go on vacation, I might have one, recreationally. I was like, are you
a
what?
Vacation coffee? A recreational vacation coffee just for fun?
Yeah. Somebody's like, do you want a 5-hour energy? He's like, I'm not a fucking addict. I'm not a degenerate.
But again, it just like circles back to
put it in an IV and give it to me.
The evil villains of today are just fucking losers, bro. They're just losers. I thought they would at least be cooler than that.
No. And then
So
he tried to like set up a joke. I don't remember but I'm getting close to it. It essentially was like, yeah, my sister always says I'm raw dogging life. Hold for applause. None? No laughter? Nobody? Come on, Theo. Give me a courtesy chuckle. I'm sure Theo courtesy chuckled.
Terrible. Terrible. Do you know what I learned today?
What did you learn today?
Pam Bondi was like a part of the Casey Anthony trial. And I had
she's the one who failed to protect children to get justice for the dead child of Casey Anthony. She is the one who we gave the Epstein files to and went, you did such a good job.
Right.
Protecting
with one of the biggest
before.
cases of child abuse that we've had in media. Like at that time, that was like the one that was like talked about the most. It was a media fucking insanity. And she fumbled it so hard. And now Casey Anthony like lives somewhere in fuck ass Florida, I think.
I had changed her name. I believe got like facial reconstruction or some shit.
Did she?
I remember hearing a while back that she was going to great lengths to try and basically make nobody recognize her now.
Well, I think if anyone could have recognized her at the height of her being like released or exonerated or whatever happened with her, I don't really know. I think that like the soccer moms would have fucking murdered her. Like there's no way. That case was everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, fucking there was an article I was reading earlier that let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Okay, I found it. On Wednesday, the Georgia State Elections Board had to send a letter of reprimand to Elon Musk because apparently it's so stupid though, where it's like, because it's Republicans, they're only sending a letter of reprimand. The letter of reprimand basically says you committed voter fraud in Georgia. The things that you were doing where you were bringing people absentee ballots that are pre-filled with the electors' required information. That is only allowed to happen by an authorized relative.
Mm-hmm.
You are not allowed to, and they were doing that shit.
Yeah.
And then they also said that your America PAC failed to display in a conspicuous location, that it was not an official government publication, was not provided by the government, and was not a ballot. Like they did all of these things, and it's literally just like, it's every time they're like, the Democrats do voter fraud, the Democrats do voter fraud, the Democrats do voter fraud. And then the response usually is, we've audited it like crazy. You've audited it like crazy. There is no significant amount of voter fraud. But the thing is, then they take that and then they commit other things that are types of voter fraud, but aren't literally the ballots were cast by somebody other than who should have cast them. Mm-hmm. They do other fraudulent shit. And so we go, you guys are doing voter fraud. And they go, but you said there's no voter fraud. We're not saying that any of the ballots were cast by anybody else. We're saying you tricked people into not voting. You did illegal ways to get people to vote. You, gerrymandering's the biggest fucking fraud racket. What should be considered. The idea that a politician can choose their voters instead of the voters choosing their politicians is so the least like, America, we love freedom and democracy. It drives me absolute fucking crazy. And anyway, Elon Musk, I liked that thing he did say that one time. He said that if the Democrats win, I'm toast. The Democrats can't win, otherwise I'm going to prison. He said it on like a podcast. I think it was with Tucker Carlson. So I'm investing to make sure the Democrats don't win, because if they win, I'm out. I'm out of here. They're gonna get me. Something along those lines. Could we start playing that in political ads, please? From now on, if you're running somewhere as a Democrat, just play that clip and just be like, and I promise that's true. Let's vote for me. I'll get him. I'll get that guy. You know he belongs in prison. I'll get him.
I want to run a hypothetical debate thing I saw earlier this morning by you, either in the next thing or in
the next segment when we get back. And we'll be right back. Okay? We will. I'm dragging this out too long. We'll be right back. That's not the right one, but this is. What we need from you is for you to go to patreon.com/calltheline and become a patron. Did you know that Alyssa's a patron?
I am a patron. That's very true.
I technically run the account, so I can't technically be a patron because I am I'm like the Patreon in this scenario, but I share it with everybody. And Alyssa is what? What'd you?
I heard a crazy sound.
I heard no sound.
That was
I think it was
so
only
weird.
on your end. I think that was the sound of you should go to patreon.com/calltheline and become a patron right now. Anybody at $5 or more gets the podcast always ad-free. We're just going to replay that. You're going to get the podcast always ad-free. You're going to get the podcast early, often. Same day releases, they kind of all come around the same time, but you get it a little bit before everybody else if you are on patreon.com by at least a few hours when we do in advance. And you get the bonus show, which is extra content afterwards. And often, as somebody posted in the comments last time, the best stuff. Will that be the case today? Can't guarantee it, because I'm realizing as I'm doing this ad read that I think I'm starting a migraine. I think that's why my day is off.
Oh no.
Patreon.com/calltheline. All right, let's hear that hypothetical.
Okay, before we get into the hypothetical, I'm realizing why I feel off right now. And it's because I haven't been drinking, and I had 2 glasses of wine last night.
Oh my God.
I think it's giving me like crazy brain fog.
Yeah, it's called a hangover.
No, I don't feel hungover. Like, I don't feel like headache or dehydrated or what.
Because you only had 2 glasses of wine. You have a 2 glasses of wine hangover.
I guess, yeah.
You are dehydrated if you haven't been drinking and the last thing you did was wine.
Well, but I went to bed sober.
Yeah.
But I guess if a brain fog is part of a hangover, like if that counts, then that's what's happening, because I have brain fog.
I think you got a mild. Yeah, of course, brain fog's part of a hangover.
That's crazy.
I mean, a hangover is fundamentally dehydration.
Right.
And liver exhaustion.
Yeah.
So it's like your alcohol-induced dehydration is causing brain fog. It's just old. It's just getting old hangovers.
Embarrassing. Do you know that I one morning? I have one.
Does it have electrolytes in it?
No, but I have electrolytes. I'll get them later.
Okay. You probably won't feel better until you use those. Just water doesn't do much for your body. You gotta have something to process it with.
I know. I one time, kind of recently, went on Reddit and I said, what do people in their 30s do when they are wanting to drink alcohol? And there's just no answer. Everyone's just I just don't. I just don't, because I can't. And I'm like, wow, that's so sad. I don't. Yeah, it's sad. But anyways,
I schedule 1 day for the drinking and 6 days for the recovery.
Dude, that's what it feels like. And it's just really not worth it. And I never thought I would be this person, but I think I just don't really drink anymore.
Yeah. I feel if you're currently in your 20s, you're thinking, wow, that sucks. If you'd pace yourself, you'd probably get to drink a fun amount for longer.
Yeah,
Because
I
I feel like
guess.
going
Yeah.
hard in your 20s is why it's harder to go at all in your 30s. And I feel like you could
I
develop like a
didn't.
healthy, moderate
Yeah.
relationship that you could probably last into you could become a
You know
functional
what I
alcoholic in your 60s.
You know what I think really fucked me up was stopping for like, cause then my body is like, I don't want to process this shit at all.
Mm.
But
So you're just saying the party should have never stopped. Great advice for our young
no.
listeners right
There
now.
should have
Never
just
stop.
been
Don't take any breaks
no.
from the
No,
boozing,
no.
even if you have a problem.
No, I wasn't never really that much of a drinker. Even when
What
I
was
went
the ooh?
out, I like
Hear the sound again?
swiped a
Oh,
piece of hair and it like moved my
it ran away.
desktop over. Um, I never really drank that much because it freaked me out to not have control over what was going on. Um, so like I think I've only thrown up from drinking like twice in my whole life, which is still not good, but better than most I would say. I went to college in New York City and I still didn't really do
Yeah.
that much drinking. But then I think as I've gotten older, I just like can't tolerate it anymore and it also just doesn't pay. It's like what was the 2 glasses of wine last night at dinner worth? It's now almost 1 p.m. and I feel like my brain is still not on. Like that's not worth it to me. But anyways, the hypothetical I was going to give you
Yeah.
was if the next election is JD Vance and Gavin Newsom,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
I'm going to
And the
vote
reason
Newsom easy.
Okay, so the reason that's what I would do also.
You should see there's a call for people who want to check this out. On February 19th, I had a show with Luxander. A person named Strawberry calls in toward the end of the show and basically is trying to make the case that either I shouldn't do that or at the very least I shouldn't shame people for for abstaining.
Mhm.
And let's just say I destroyed them. That is an absurd thing to say. They should have
Okay.
to earn our vote. The whole thing was like a
Yeah.
crazy. Go on, and
So
I'll probably end up bringing that call up again.
yeah, I'm glad that you like already kind of had this conversation then because I saw it in a clip. Um, Jennifer Welch and Hassan Piker and one other person they were talking about it, and Jennifer was like kind of she said I would literally crawl through like spiky concrete to or whatever something like that wet concrete whatever the hell um to vote for Gavin Newsom to just like ensure that it's not going to be JD Vance. And Hassan said I'm going to vote independent. And she was like okay but like then like what then we're fucked. And he was just basically like at this point, the corporate Dems and the like, traditional Republican feel the same to me. And I just don't I can't get on board with that. Like he was basically saying if I'm a progressive, it doesn't make sense for me to vote for a Democrat because they are not progressive and they are not that different than a Republican. But I sort of feel like this is not the time to like
I take
make a
Hassan
point.
one-on-one with that. Like, I
feel
would
like
think about not doing it because his audience are fucking horrible.
yeah,
And
I'm sure they're
so what would then
terrifying.
follow? But
But
he's
like
missing some huge shit here.
it feels like I've used this analogy before when it came to taking an antidepressant and doing therapy because I had a friend who oh my god, it was the ex who I didn't know voted for Trump. When I started taking an antidepressant when I was like in a very bad place, it was life-saving for me in that moment. He was like, well, I don't understand. That's just putting like a band-aid over the whole thing. And I was like, right, but if I'm drowning, I would rather have a life vest and then learn to swim. If I'm already drowning, I'm not going to learn how to swim in that very moment. I need support. I need help. So similarly, if it's JD and Newsom, Vance and Newsom, I feel like Newsom is the life vest. We cannot allow the margin of error of a JD Vance that will we're already drowning. We need a fucking life vest. And then once we have the life vest, then we learn how to swim. Like I don't know.
So their
it's
response
not
would
the
be
time
like,
to make
well,
a
that's
point.
just what we're doing every time, and then we're never
Yeah.
going to actually learn to swim. And that's obviously their response. So the thing
Yeah.
is there's a few different ways a person can take it, and it's literally as simple as this. As far as the earning vote goes, that's what primaries are for. And when the primary happens, in the same way that you would expect people to go, if our guy won, you would expect them to fall in line and vote for our guy against theirs, even though they liked the other person more. We do that in return. And one of the reasons why we do that is the consequences of not doing that are too vast. You aren't just voting for president, you're voting for the Supreme Court. But additionally, what's more important is have a fucking really big primary challenge. Like have a hard primary. Make Gavin Newsom, if he ends up being the nominee, make him have to work hard for it. Because, I feel like it's because people are just thinking about the way Kamala Harris just got given to us and we didn't really get a say in it. And it just felt like they had a loophole to maintain status quo. But keep in mind that Joe Biden came in as a moderate and then ended up being one of the most progressive presidents in his actual, compared to other presidents, in the way he actually legislated in modern history. Obviously, there are huge things he did wrong. Gaza, nobody's forgetting that. Okay. But that happened because of the Bernie challenge. Because Bernie almost won, Bernie not only pulls their agenda to the left, tells them where that is. We got a better version of Biden because of Bernie. And then Bernie got power. Bernie got like put in charge of committees and shit that like controlled the country's budget and shit. And is also getting to now, as that person he was, sort of develop his own team of here are the people who come after me. And so it's, the focus should be like, honestly, if somebody asked me that question, it would be like, would I vote for Gavin Newsom if he won? Well, let's see where Gavin Newsom is if he wins after he faces what we're going to bring him. Because if he does the right thing and goes, oh shit, I'm Joe Biden and Bernie almost took me out, I need to actually work with Bernie and the people like Bernie, that's a different evaluation than if they go, oh, a Bernie came along and AOC or whatever, made me work hard, made me have to talk to the left. Here's the things I'm going to give them. That should be a different evaluation. And it was very whack for Hassan to say now. Maybe it's tactical. I feel like this was like one of the things the callers suggested. And it's like, maybe it was a tactical move of like, I'm saying I won't vote now, so they'll come to me to try and get my vote. So they'll give me somebody more progressive. But really, if I faced that day, I would. But right now, the consequences, to me, anybody who says that right now, you have to say that from a position of privilege. And a position of privilege that is somewhat deaf to the plight of trans people, queer people, brown people, immigrants. The consequences of Donald Trump and his presidency are not worth whatever moral victory these privileged people feel like they got from abstaining voting for Kamala Harris. It hasn't been worth it.
I felt that way too. And like, there are moments where I really do appreciate Hassan. And then there are other times where I'm like, what the fuck? And and Jennifer said a similar thing to him, where she said, I was born and raised in a red state where there are trans people, queer people, young women, like that having somebody like Gavin Newsom be elected is a lifeline to them, as opposed to someone like JD Vance. Like, that is a life and death matter to them. And I don't remember what Hassan said, if he said anything in particular, but I agree, it feels privilegey. And it was like a weird take.
It is inherently privilegey.
Yeah, it is. You're right. And I was like, I was really disappointed. And
it doesn't help him beat like, the you becoming rich has detached you from
it's like just like high horse shit.
Because I thought people were unfair to him when they were like, you with your $6 million home and blah, 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 blah. It proves you're just the capitalist, whatever. And usually it's like, look, that's California is where he lives, and that's where homes are $6 million. It's better that than paying a landlord. If you're going to live in a capitalist society, it's better you possess some of the capital as you work toward the gains of ending it. But it doesn't really help defending that when it's like, oh, and here's also how detached he has become from the consequences of voting. Because the world of a rich person is so much less affected by who the president is
Yeah.
than the individual who's a trans person who
Mhm.
who just needs to hear what trans people go through in school, or like that they exist, to even
Mhm.
just be able to identify that that's who they are, and to limit the amount of abuse that will be done by them to people who will take advantage of their vulnerability. Like, that's what we know comprehensive sexual education that includes queer issues does, is it lowers abuse because it gives people language to identify it with and to tell others it's happening. Uh, and yeah, just fundamentally, and obviously what's happening to immigrants, what's happening with ICE. And my biggest problem here is we may already have passed the point of no return, but
Mhm.
if come 2028, we have a chance at undoing that, in 2028, it may not matter. They may be cheating so much that whoever the candidate is, it won't matter because Donald Trump essentially will get to declare the victor because of whatever
Right.
bullshit, all the shit he's trying to do between now and then, or make it impossible or hard for anybody but white Republicans to vote, as they've also been trying to do. They fucking love that shit, and so it might become irrelevant anyway. But if there's a chance to restore, basically undo those laws and set that back and solidify something better, if there's a chance of that in 2028, I don't even know that there is. And the fact is like that should also make you go, I'm going to vote for anyone who is going to potentially undo that and restore some amount of democracy to our
Yeah.
voting process. And
Yeah.
basically, especially when if they can win in a voting crisis, off of that, you then have the ability to go like, I won even though they tried this hard,
Right.
and that this constitutional election crisis was happening. So now it has to be top of my agenda that we have to reform our election system, and fix what they broke, and then pass something that opens the way for more ranked choice voting and shit like that. Though it'd be enabling states to do that, since the government is supposed to stay out of how states run their elections.
I'm looking at some of the comments because I'm just curious what other people had to say, and a lot of people talking about the primary in the comments. But I also like Hassan got a lot of fucking shit for saying
Good.
that, and I'm glad he did, like, because that really, like, that is.
But did he get it from socialists, leftists? Is he getting it from his people?
I think it
That's
was
what's more
his.
important, because
I think it was
he's
his people,
a huge
and
amount of his people in like his subreddit, which is a cult,
mhm.
but that the people in there are fucking crazy. I said it, and I'm sure this will now be, despite this podcast being one of our more obscure things, I'll probably end up clipped in there. They're fucking nuts over there. And you're probably not going to get a lot of pushback from any of the places that he monitors that affirms his stuff.
Mhm.
He's in one of those very nice positions. I'm luckily so hated by many of my own fans. They love, quote unquote, humbling me. Uh,
Ah.
he can very easily slip into a zone of a great many tens of thousands of people whose
Mhm.
beliefs are whatever he told them they should be. And so they're not going to do anything but affirm whatever he said.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. That video I saw from it was posted like a week ago, so I don't know if anything else has come out about that conversation, but I thought that was like, I was like, "Really? Really? We're at this dire of a juncture and that's how you feel?"
You know,
I was so like honestly kind of grossed out.
right. I mean, Alex Preddy and Renee Good just got murdered when he said these comments. And it's kind of like, I don't know, man. The optics of right now on the back of like what's happening right now. That's
Right.
because this was a couple weeks ago he said this too. So that stuff was even fucking fresher. I don't know, man. I don't know, but he's not gonna listen to me. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll embrace him. I'm taller than Hassan. I'm not, but wouldn't it be funny if I convinced people I was? Isn't he like 6'6", 6'7", something crazy?
I have no idea.
I'm only
I don't
six
know.
two. I'm tall. I'm not a giant.
I'm not so invested in Hassan Piker that I would know his height, but I do like to like watch some of the things that he shares, but I was like, come on. That was
Yeah.
so disappointing to hear.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it, right? I think that's
That's all
it. I
I
don't think
got.
you or I have anything in us for a bonus show. Maybe we'll
I
do a
think if
movie review on the weekend or
ooh.
something. I don't know.
Ooh,
I don't
that's
want
a
to make
good
any.
idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
We'll see. We'll see.
I have if we did a bonus show, it would literally be me just staring out into the distance because I cannot believe the level of brain fog I'm experiencing right now.
It'll be me thinking about laying down,
Yeah.
which is what I'm going to
God.
do next. Yeah, yeah.
That is so crazy. 2 glasses of wine at 6 p.m., by the way.
My life's also being rocked by this canker sore on the roof of my mouth in the back. Anytime I swallow, it's irritated by talking. It doesn't look like a
Guys.
normal canker sore. It's a weird thing. Like it's
Both of
red
us.
and there's a spot that's white, but my canker sores usually have like a pretty defined ridge. This
Mhm.
one's less defined. It almost looks like inside, like there's a zit under.
Ugh,
But I think it's a canker sore that just looks funny because the flesh there is much different than a lot of the
gross.
rest too.
Gross.
Anyway,
Oh my
that's it.
God.
That's the show, and I'm sorry.
Sorry.